Glass exploded across the marble floor as the door slammed open. FBI! Nobody move! Chairs screeched. A woman screamed. A gun clattered to the ground. Agent Elena Hart didn't slow down. Her heels struck the polished tiles as she moved straight through the chaos, gun raised, eyes locked on the man at the far end of the private dining room. Luca Moretti didn't flinch. He sat calmly, napkin folded on his lap, wine glass untouched. Around him, men panicked, hands up, faces pale, but Luca only smiled, slow and amused, like this was a dinner interruption rather than a federal raid. Agent Hart, he said smoothly. You're late. Elena pressed the barrel of her gun to his forehead. Hands on the table. Luca raised them deliberately. You Americans, he murmured. Always so dramatic. Her team flooded in, securing the room. Cuffs snapped. Shouts echoed. But Elena's focus never wavered. You're under arrest for conspiracy, racketeering, money laundering, and breathing? Luca interrupted. You forgot breathing. Her jaw tightened. You think this is funny? I think, he said quietly, eyes flicking to her badge, that you've been chasing me for 3 years. And this is the first time you're close enough to smell my cologne. She shoved him forward. Move. As they escorted him out, Luca leaned closer, his voice dropping low enough that only she could hear. You're shaking, he said softly. Not fear. Anticipation. She stopped abruptly and slammed him against the wall. You don't know a damn thing about me. He met her stare without blinking. That's where you're wrong. Hours later, the building buzzed with celebration. Agents laughed, slapped backs, talked about promotions and headlines. Elena stood apart, staring at the interrogation room through the glass. Inside, Luca sat relaxed, cuffs loose, posture unbothered. Go in, her supervisor said, clapping her shoulder. Finish it. Elena nodded and entered the room. She dropped a thick file onto the table. Your empire ends tonight. Luca glanced at the folder but didn't open it. You're very confident. We have wire transfers, witnesses, shell companies. All built on assumptions, he cut in. You know what your problem is, Agent Hart? She leaned forward. You don't talk enough. He smiled. You believe monsters look like monsters. She paused. You think power announces itself with violence, Luca continued. But real power. It waits. Elena straightened. This interview is over. She stood, but his next words stopped her cold. Your father waited too, Luca said. Silence slammed into the room. Elena turned slowly. What did you say? Luca tilted his head. Detective William Hart. Chicago. Internal Affairs Investigation. Ruled a suicide. Her breath caught for half a second, just enough. You don't get to say his name, she said. And yet, Luca replied calmly. Here we are. She stormed out. That night, Elena sat alone in her apartment, lights off, city noise humming below. She replayed the interrogation again and again, the way had said her father's name, not as a threat, but as a fact. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, you left before dessert. Her fingers hovered, then typed. Elena, don't contact me again. The reply came instantly. Unknown number, you'll want answers. Tomorrow. 9 p.m. No badge. She deleted the message. Then she didn't sleep. The next evening, Elena stood across the street from a quiet restaurant, coat pulled tight, FBI badge locked in her glove compartment. She told herself she was here for intelligence. Control. Closure. Not curiosity. Inside, Luca waited at a corner table. No wires, he said as she sat. She smirked. You're not that important. He gestured to the empty seat. Sit anyway. They ate. Talked. Carefully. You manipulated evidence, she said. I revealed weakness, Luca corrected. There's a difference. You murdered people. I removed obstacles. She laughed once, sharp. You're unbelievable. And yet, he said, meeting her gaze, you're here. Weeks passed. Meetings became routine. Conversations deepened. Lines blurred. Elena fed him nothing classified, at least that's what she told herself. But patterns slipped. Schedules. Timing. Instinctive remarks she didn't even realize mattered. One night, after too much wine, Luca asked quietly, "If you weren't FBI, who would you be?" She hesitated. "Someone who sleeps." He smiled. "You deserve rest." The raid happened on a Tuesday. Elena watched the monitors as teams stormed warehouses that were supposed to be full. They were empty. Phones rang. Voices shouted. Panic rippled. Her supervisor turned slowly toward her. He knew. Elena's stomach dropped. By morning, internal affairs arrived. By noon, her phone was seized. By evening, her name was everywhere. Agent Elena Hart suspended amid Mafia scandal. She stood in the FBI lobby as her badge was taken, the weight of it leaving her palm like something torn out. As she walked out, reporters shouted questions. "Did you sleep with him? Were you paid? Are you a traitor?" She didn't answer. That night, alone again, her phone buzzed. "Unknown number. I told you power waits." She stared at the screen, heart pounding. If you're hooked already, pause for a second and hit subscribe, because this story is only getting darker. And if you think Elena is guilty or played, drop a comment now. She typed one word. "Elena, why?" 3 dots appeared. "Unknown number, because now you're free." Elena didn't reply. She threw the phone onto the couch like it had burned her, paced the length of the apartment, then picked it up again. The message stared back at her, calm and smug. "Because now you're free." Free from what? Her badge? Her reputation? The only thing she had ever believed in? She typed, erased, typed again. "Elena, you destroyed my life." The reply came slower this time. "Luca, I removed the illusion that protected it." She exhaled sharply and locked the phone. The next morning, she was summoned downtown. Not to the bureau. Somewhere worse. A narrow conference room. No windows. 2 internal affairs investigators. 1 legal counsel. A recorder blinking red. "State your name for the record," one of them said. "Elena Marie Hart." "You are aware you're not under arrest," the woman added. "Yet." Elena folded her hands. "Asked your questions? How long were you involved with Luca Moretti?" "I wasn't involved." The man leaned forward. "We have photographs. Phone records. Witnesses." Elena met his eyes. "Then you already have your answers." The woman slid a tablet across the table. On the screen was a grainy image of Elena entering the restaurant. Timestamped. Tagged. "Why were you there without authorization?" Elena swallowed. "To gather intelligence." "Without backup?" "Yes." "Without reporting it?" "Yes." The man's voice hardened. "Why?" Silence stretched. "Because," Elena said finally, "I believed I could control him." The woman shut off the recorder. "That belief," she said calmly, "may cost you prison time." Elena was released 3 hours later. Not cleared. Not charged. Just suspended in a space worse than both. Outside, the city felt louder, sharper. Every stranger looked like an accusation. Her phone buzzed again. "Luca, you survived. That means they don't really want the truth." "Elena, stop contacting me." "Luca, you won't block me." She did block him. 2 hours later, a knock came at her door. She didn't open it. "Elena," Luca's voice called softly. "I know you're home." Her pulse spiked. She grabbed the gun from her drawer, approached the door silently, and flung it open. Luca stood there alone, hands visible, expression calm. "You're insane," she hissed. "Probably," he agreed. "May I come in?" "No." He glanced down the hallway. "Your neighbors are watching." She cursed under her breath and stepped aside. The moment the door closed, she shoved him back against it, gun to his chest. "Leave," she said. "Now. You won't shoot me. Try me." You want, he repeated, quieter? Because if I die, every file I prepared goes public. Her grip tightened. What files? Emails. Messages. A narrative, Luca said. A convincing one. You framed me. I curated the truth. She laughed, bitter. You ruined everything. No, he said. You handed it to me. I just wrapped it neatly. She lowered the gun slowly. Why? He met her eyes. No smile this time. Because you're dangerous, he said. And the FBI was dulling you. She scoffed. You think you're some kind of savior? No, Luca replied. I think I'm honest. Silence thickened. You used my father, she said quietly. You knew bringing him up would crack me. I didn't use him, Luca said. I investigated him. Her head snapped up. What? William Hart wasn't corrupt, Luca continued. He was getting close to people far uglier than me. Her chest tightened. You're lying. I don't lie about the dead. He reached into his coat slowly. She raised the gun again. Easy, he murmured, pulling out a folded document. He placed it on the table between them. Autopsy photos. Financial records. A suppressed witness statement. Elena's hands shook as she read. He was murdered, Luca said. And they buried it. Tears burned, but she refused to let them fall. Why give me this? Because, he said softly, you deserve to know who really took everything from you. She stared at the papers, then at him. You still destroyed my career. Yes. Why? So you'd stop believing in systems that only protect themselves. She sank into the chair. Days passed. Elena stayed off the grid. No media. No calls. No friends. The bureau didn't reach out again. Luca did. Not constantly. Not desperately. Strategically. Information. Connections. Truths she could verify. Each time she checked, he was right. You're manipulating me, she said during one late-night call. Of course, he replied. But so were they. She hated that he wasn't wrong. One night, she asked, what do you want from me? A pause. Your mind, Luca said. Not your loyalty. Not your body. And if I say no? Then you walk away with the truth about your father, he said. And nothing else. And if I say yes? Then, he said calmly, you help me dismantle the people who think they own both of us. Her breath hitched. You're asking me to become a criminal. I'm asking you to stop pretending criminals wear only one uniform. The line went dead. Elena sat in the dark, staring at the city lights. Justice had abandoned her. Truth hadn't. If you're still watching right now, tap like, because this is the moment everything changes. And tell me in the comments, should she walk away? Or step deeper? Her phone buzzed one last time that night. Luca, they're coming for you. Not officially. Elena, who? Luca, the people who killed your father. She stood, grabbed her coat, and walked into the night. Elena didn't go home. She walked 3 blocks past her apartment, ducked into a 24-hour laundromat, and sat with her back against a vending machine, watching the door reflect in the dark glass of the washers. Her phone stayed silent, but her instincts screamed. Luca had never warned her without reason. A man entered 10 minutes later. Too clean. Too alert. He didn't look at the machines or the prices. He looked at reflections. Elena stood, slow and casual, and walked out the back door. The alley was narrow and wet. Her heels slipped once, then found rhythm. She turned left, then right, blending into traffic just as footsteps echoed behind her. Elena Hart, a voice called. Calm. Professional. She didn't stop. A hand grabbed her arm. She twisted, slammed her elbow into his ribs, and bolted. The man cursed, stumbled, but recovered fast. Another figure appeared ahead. Cornered. Elena ducked into a side street, vaulted a low fence, and crashed through a fire exit door that wasn't locked because nothing ever was when it mattered. She hid behind stacked crates, hard hammering, guns steady in her hand. Footsteps entered. Slow. Confident. You don't have to run, the man said. We just want to talk. She waited until he was close enough. Then she stepped out and pressed the gun to his temple. Who sent you? The man froze. Easy. I'm not armed. Answer. A second man appeared behind him, hands raised. We work for people you shouldn't have met, the first said. That's all. She shoved him back. Get out. They hesitated. Now. They left. Elena exhaled only when the door slammed shut. Her phone buzzed. Luca, I said, unofficial. Elena, they found me. Luca, which means they're scared. Elena, I didn't agree to anything. Luca, yet? He sent an address. Luca, you should see this. She stared at it for a long time before typing. Elena, 1 hour. The building was old. Brick. Quiet. No sign. Inside, Luca waited with 2 other people she didn't recognize. A woman with sharp eyes and a man with a limp. Elena, Luca said, standing. You look like someone who's been chased. She ignored him. You said you weren't going to trap me. I didn't, he replied. They did. The woman stepped forward. We don't have much time. Elena raised her gun. I don't know you. The woman nodded. You will. She slid a tablet across the table. Footage played. Grainy. A parking garage. Her father stepping into frame. A car pulling up too fast. A struggle. A gunshot. Elena's breath caught. Internal cleanup, the woman said. He was getting close to a joint operation between federal finance and organized crime. Elena looked at Luca. You knew this? Yes. And you waited? I waited for you to be able to hear it, he said. She laughed, hollow. You destroyed my credibility. So they couldn't silence you quietly. The man with the limp spoke for the first time. You're visible now. Scandal buys time. Elena looked between them. You're building a case. We're building leverage, Luca corrected. For what? For survival, the woman said. And power. Elena shook her head. You want me to help criminals? No, Luca said. We want you to help expose hypocrites. She turned to leave. Luca didn't stop her. Elena, he said softly. If you walk out, they'll kill you. If you stay, they'll underestimate you. She stopped. Slowly turned back. What do you need? Luca smiled. Not triumph. Respect. Your instincts, he said. Your pattern recognition. Your anger. She dropped into a chair. One condition. Name it. If I do this, she said, I choose who falls. Not you. Luca nodded. Agreed. They worked through the night. Names. Shell companies. Political donations. Federal contracts. The overlap was sickening. These people sit on ethics committees, Elena said quietly. And dine at my table, Luca replied. Her phone buzzed. A blocked number. She answered. Elena Hart, a familiar voice said. Her former supervisor. You're in danger, he continued. Come in. We can protect you. She looked at Luca, then back at the tablet. From who? She asked. There was a pause. From yourself. She hung up. The next days blurred into motion. She stopped sleeping. Started planning. They leaked small truths. Test balloons. Watched reactions. A senator resigned quietly. A federal contractor vanished overseas. Pressure built. You're enjoying this, Luca observed one night. I'm enjoying clarity, Elena replied. He studied her. You've changed. So have you. He smiled faintly. No. I've been this way longer. One evening, after a close call, Elena confronted him. You still haven't answered the real question, she said. Which is? What happens when this ends? Luca held her gaze. It doesn't. She nodded slowly. Then we're already damned. He stepped closer. Not touching. Or liberated. Their phones buzzed simultaneously. Same alert. A major network had broken the story. Federal task force under scrutiny for corruption. Elena exhaled sharply. They took the bait, she said. Luca's eyes gleamed. And now they hunt. If you're still here, comment right now, because from this moment forward, there's no turning back. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next part changes everything. Elena stared at the screen. For the first time, she said quietly, they're afraid of me. The fear didn't come quietly. It came in the form of frozen bank accounts, sealed indictments, sudden deaths ruled accidental, and men Elena had never met suddenly knowing her name. They moved apartments twice in 1 week. Someone inside the bureau is feeding them, Elena said, scanning a burner phone report. Luca poured coffee. Of course they are. Institutions rot from the inside first. They're trying to bait me, she said. They want me visible. Desperate. And you are, Luca replied calmly. She looked up sharply. I'm focused. That too, he said. The woman with sharp eyes, Mara, slid a folder across the table. We lost one. Elena stiffened. Who? Julian, Mara said. Sniper. Parking garage. Elena closed her eyes briefly. He knew the risks, Luca said. That doesn't make him expendable, Elena snapped. Luca met her anger evenly. No. It makes him honest. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She sat on the edge of the bed, gun on her lap, staring at nothing. You blame me, Luca said quietly from the doorway. I blame everyone, she replied. Including myself? He stepped closer. You didn't pull the trigger. No, she said. I just aimed the war. Silence pressed between them. Then Luca said, if you want out. I don't, Elena interrupted. I just want them to bleed proportionately. He smiled faintly. That's my girl. She looked up sharply. Don't say that. Why? Because it makes this sound personal. It is personal, he said. For both of us. They struck back the next morning. A financial leak tied a senior FBI administrator to offshore accounts. A judge abruptly recused herself. 2 lobbyists vanished from the city. The reaction was immediate. Emergency meeting, Mara said. They're consolidating. Elena studied the screen. They're scared. And cornered, Luca added. Which makes them reckless. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered without speaking. Elena, the voice said. Familiar. Calm. Controlled. Her stomach dropped. Director Collins. You've made a mess, he said. You buried a murder, she replied. Careful, Collins warned. You're not protected anymore. I never was, she said. There was a pause. Come in. Alone. We can still fix this. She smiled humorlessly. You mean erase me quietly? You're emotional, Collins said. You're compromised. She leaned back. You killed my father. Silence. Then, softly, he wouldn't let go. The call ended. Elena stared at the phone. Luca watched her carefully. That was him. Yes. And? He confirmed it. Luca exhaled slowly. Then the head comes off. You don't understand, Elena said. He's not just powerful. He's protected. So was every king before the fall, Luca replied. They planned fast. Too fast. That was the mistake. The convoy ambush was meant to scare, not kill. It did both. Gunfire erupted on a bridge at dusk. Sirens screamed. Cars crashed. Elena watched the live feed, breath shallow. This wasn't the plan, she said. Mara swore. They brought private security. Someone leaked, Luca said sharply. The feed cut. Her phone buzzed immediately. Unknown, you crossed the line. Then another message. Unknown, choose who dies next. Elena's hands shook. They're forcing escalation, she said. They want chaos. And control, Luca replied. The next morning, Elena's face was everywhere. Disgraced FBI agent linked to urban violence. She turned off the TV. You're becoming the villain, Mara said quietly. Elena didn't answer. That night, Luca found her on the roof, city wind whipping her hair. You didn't sign up to be hated, he said. I signed up to stop monsters, she replied. Turns out they write the headlines. He stepped beside her. You can still walk away. She laughed softly. And do what? Start over as a ghost? You'd live, he said. She looked at him. Would you? He hesitated. That was answer enough. They kissed then. Not gentle. Not romantic. Desperate and furious and honest. When they pulled apart, Elena said, This doesn't change anything. It changes everything, Luca replied. The next blow came at dawn. Mara was taken. No message. No warning. Just absence. Elena tore through safe houses, contacts, records. Nothing. They're not hiding her, Elena said. They're baiting me. They want you alone, Luca replied. Her phone rang. Blocked number. Elena, Collins said. Come see me. She smiled coldly. Where's Mara? She's safe, he lied. For now. Luca grabbed her arm. This is a trap. I know, Elena said. Then don't go. She met his eyes. They won't stop until I do. Silence stretched. If I don't come back, she said quietly, release everything. Luca's jaw tightened. You won't die. You don't know that. I do, he said fiercely. Because I won't allow it. She touched his face briefly. You don't own fate. No, he said. But I negotiate with it. If your heart is pounding right now, hit like, because this is the most dangerous moment yet. And if you think Elena should survive this, comment now. She walked out alone. And this time, no one followed her. Elena's shoes echoed in the marble hallway. The government building smelled of polished floors and stale coffee. Each step was deliberate. Every instinct screamed danger. She passed security, flashed her temporary credentials, and kept walking. Director Collins waited in a glass office. Calm. Too calm. Agent Hart, he said, rising. Good to see you. She didn't return the courtesy. Where's Mara? Collins gestured vaguely. She's safe. She's always safe. As long as you cooperate. I don't negotiate with threats, Elena said. Her voice low, steady. Then understand this, Collins said, leaning closer. You're jeopardizing national security. Your actions. Am exposing hypocrisy, she interrupted. The people who killed my father, hid evidence, and destroyed my career. They call that national security? Collins stiffened. You have no idea what you're touching. I have every idea, she said. And I'm done pretending that doing nothing is safe. The door behind her clicked. Elena spun, gun raised. Luca stepped in, calm as ever. I wasn't invited, Collins said sharply. Elena didn't lower her weapon. No. But I brought him. Luca's eyes met hers. Silent understanding. A lifetime of trust compressed into a glance. You're insane, Collins spat. Or honest, Luca replied. Collins lunged too fast, trying to grab Elena's gun. Luca intercepted, slamming him against the wall. Elena pressed the barrel of her weapon to Collins' temple. Do not move, she said. Her voice rang with authority she hadn't felt in years. Collins froze. Sweat beaded on his forehead. You don't understand. I understand enough, she said. I understand the lies. The murders. The betrayals. You protected everyone but me. You think that's control. Luca stepped aside. She's in charge now. Don't forget it. Collins swallowed hard. If you do this, there's no going back. Elena's gaze softened for the briefest second. I don't care anymore. Minutes passed like hours. Then, slowly, Collins slumped. Elena didn't lower her gun until she was sure he wasn't going to move. She exhaled, shaking. Luca placed a steady hand on her shoulder. You okay? He asked quietly. She nodded. I think. For the first time, yes. They walked out of the building into the early morning light. Sirens wailed in the distance, news crews already swarming. She didn't care. Now what? She asked. Now we finish, Luca said. They moved quickly, releasing incriminating evidence to the media, exposing the politicians, contractors, and officials who had enabled the corruption. The headlines exploded. Lawsuits. Resignations. Arrests. Chaos that the Bureau couldn't control. Elena watched it all unfold, sitting in a dark corner of a safe house, coffee cold in her hand. You changed the game, Luca said. I survived it, she replied. You enjoyed it, he teased lightly. I enjoyed clarity, she corrected. They worked together quietly, efficiently. Elena became a ghost in the system, untraceable, untouchable, feared. Her name was whispered in federal offices with caution, and all. Weeks later, Mara returned. Safe, bruised, but alive. Elena embraced her tightly. You're back, Mara whispered. I never left, Elena replied. Just reorganized priorities. The three of them sat in silence. Plans, strategies, names to watch, enemies to anticipate. One evening, Luca handed Elena a sealed envelope. No markings. No explanation. She opened it. Photos of her father. Notes. Evidence of a conspiracy even deeper than she had imagined. You want answers, Luca said softly. Here they are. Elena stared. The rage, the grief, the betrayal, it all bubbled up. And then. She smiled. Then we keep going, she said. And no one can stop us, Luca replied. Elena folded the papers, slipped them into her coat, and stepped out into the night. The city lights reflected in her eyes, sharp, unyielding, unstoppable. Her phone buzzed one last time. She ignored it. Luca didn't. He smiled, knowing she no longer needed guidance, only partnership. As she vanished into the streets, the words formed quietly in her mind. They took my career. They took my innocence. But they didn't take my power. And in the shadows, someone whispered her name. She didn't flinch. She had become the hunter, the strategist, the woman no one could predict. Elena Hart had fallen, and risen far beyond the Bureau, far beyond the law, far beyond anyone's control. If you've made it this far, you've seen how far desperation and intelligence can take someone. Hit like, subscribe, and comment below, because Elena's story is just the beginning, and the next one will be even darker. The city waited. And so did she.